do this first, then I would do the bum, then I would do the hamstring. Okay? So the order of stuff is big muscle groups to little muscle groups. Okay? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So quads first with your roller. Okay, so I'm just going right at that top part of the hip because I know that that area is quite sore for you. So I'm going right in that groove where my leg meets the pelvis. Just having a little rummage in there first. And then I'll make my way down the thigh. And I'm kind of a little bit off center, so I'm not directly in the middle because we tend to be more tight around the outer side. Okay, so I just slowly move down, and when I feel that knot, that tenderness, I'm going to stop and pause and breathe. Breath is really key to it. And also the fact that when we do have an injury, our brain tends to focus on it, right? So, you know, there might be part of you that's going, is it going to hurt today? Is it going to hurt today? Is it going to hurt today? What am I, you know, there's a bit of an obsession with it. And what I would do is maybe focus just on kind of maybe noticing your movement rather than expecting the pain.
Yeah.
And kind of notice how you walk down the stairs, notice how your feet strike the floor, you know, notice how you're walking. Are you walking, you know, fully through your feet? Are you walking on one part of your foot? So almost notice your motion rather than kind of thinking, is this going to hurt? Is this going to hurt? Is this going to hurt?
Okay.
I don't know if that will help, but sometimes we just get fixated on something hurting. How's that feeling? Tight?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It often makes me feel sick.
Does it?
Yeah.
Because it's so painful?
Yeah.
So that tells you a lot, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and to make sure you're breathing, because a lot of the time when we feel discomfort, we tend to go and we hold our breath, okay? So I want you,
that's true.
yeah, when you're on there, you actually take a moment and go, nice deep breaths, okay? Okay, you want to be breathing because the fascia will appreciate you breathing deeply. Okay, so big breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Big breath into the back of the ribs and out. So these muscles are really key alongside your glutes and your hamstrings, okay? Sometimes people have to do a good month of only doing that. Sometimes 2 months of only doing that, you know, and nothing else to really strip away all the toxins and all the crap in there.
Yeah, well, you said to me you didn't mind if I just sat on, do the things on my bum for 4 weeks.
Yeah,
I've remembered that, so that's why I've been doing a lot of those.
Yeah, so I think just finding the balance, because I think for you the front of the legs are quite tight for you as well. I think you've just got the whole area around your hip just in a state of shock.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah. And the knee is, you know, it's never in the knee, right? If we have pain somewhere, it's very rarely coming from the knee. If we've got pain in the shoulder, it's very rarely coming from there. It's usually coming from somewhere else. So the knee is just the symptom of the dysfunction that's going on. So if we kind of say that actually it's not the knee is just telling me that something's not right, and we can get to the source of the mechanical issue. And that's why I think focusing on your movement and how you're walking, how is your pelvis moving? How are you going down the stairs? Are you thumping a little bit on one side? Are you rolling through your feet? Are you being really delicate and gentle as you go down? Are you protecting? You know what I mean? Just notice your movement, because your brain might be going, be careful, be careful, be careful.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily need to. Okay, go to the other side, do the same breathing, nice deep breaths, okay? Because that'll stop you from feeling so nauseous. When my husband first did all this kind of stuff, I mean, he took probably half a year out of doing proper exercise to just do myofascial release, because his back had got so bad he couldn't even run around with the kids. I mean, we would go on a holiday for the weekend and he would have to sit down after 5 minutes of even standing to, yeah, oh, it was horrible. I mean, he always had kind of history of back pain that just kind of came and went, but it got to the point where he couldn't sit, he couldn't stand, he couldn't move. And he just had to strip it right back, and he did 6 months worth of really just doing the whole body, top to bottom. I mean, you're only grazing the surface of it right now.
Oh God.
I know, no, but you know, not everybody needs everything. We just kind of have to, but usually the big muscle groups, they have to go first, okay? So we have to get the quads, the hamstrings, the glutes, the calves, okay? And try and resist your body coming away from that discomfort. Breathe into it, melt into it. Just think if you went for a massage and they didn't find your trigger points, you'd be pretty disappointed in that massage, right? You want them to find those ouchy spots. That's what you're doing with the roller, okay? You're trying to find the knots that a massage therapist would get into. Big breath in, nice deep breath. And ideally it'll melt so that you can move down the leg properly. Okay? So definitely exercise 1. How's that feeling on that side?
It's easier on this side.
You're on your right side now, aren't you?
Yeah. It's not as uncomfortable.
Okay. What I want you to try and do is to sit on the roller. Okay, so I'm sitting on my roller, and I want you to see if you can just roll your bum this way. Okay, so I've got I'm on my right bum, and my right leg is just slightly turned out. So I've just got my hands supporting here wherever it needs to be, okay? And I'm kind of leaning on my right bum, my right leg is out, and I've just got my other leg up here. And I'm just kind of finding those little nooks that you might have found with the ball, okay? But it'll be a slightly bigger surface area. Can you feel that?
Yeah.
Okay? Now, when that gets easier, you're going to lift that leg up to here. Okay, so that'll be your measure of the flexibility improving when that leg can get itself up here. But for now, it's fine. Just have it on the floor and just move around to where you feel you need it. Okay, so this is exercise 2.
I'll never get to that point. I can't do that just sitting properly on a chair.
What's that?
That, when you said lift that foot, when it's done, I can't do that when I sit on a chair normally.
That'll be your measure of us improving.
Oh my God.
You know, this is the thing with movement is, you know, we've got obsessed with exercise instead of movement, you know, and we've conditioned, you know, the fitness world to do exercise and to actually produce good movement for people. Because what do we really need to do in our day? We need to be able to bend down and pick up things. We need to rotate. We need to pull. We need to push. We need to walk, right? So if those things aren't possible, it doesn't matter if you can do jump jacks and 50 squats and whatever. If then you come out of that class and you can't walk, was that an efficient movement practice? No, it wasn't. And this is what's happening, is people are doing exercise and then they can't walk and run and bend and push and pull, you know? So I think we just need to change how we're exercising people and just get them to move better. Okay, we're gonna try the left side. That was our easy side. Okay, so I'm leaning kind of my left thumb on there, and my left leg is just turned out where it can. And then I'm just rolling a little bit. Use your hand to help assist you. You okay? Do you sleep very well?
I think so, although my husband says I snore a lot.
Okay.
And he used to.
He used to snore.
He used to, but in the last year, he's lost 2.5 stone.
Oh, wow.
And goes to the went to the gym a lot before it closed.
Yeah.
Doing spinning and other things, and
yeah.
now he's borrowed Susie's bike and he's going out cycling.
Awesome. So how did he lose the weight?
Well, he eats a lot less food.
And he
like he'll go without, he has very little at lunchtime, a banana.
Well, fasting can be quite good, but normally we recommend that people do fasting from the night to the morning. So if you eat your meal at like 7 at night, then to try and go at least 12 hours, 16 hours before you have a meal the next morning. So, I mean, I eat very late at night. So I eat at like 9 or 10 just by my shifts. I don't now because we're doing more reasonable shifts. So then I wouldn't eat until kind of 11 or 12, so almost have a brunch. And that really works quite well for me. I realized that I was eating breakfast because I thought I had to, not because I was hungry. So now when I wake up, if I have to go to work at a certain time in the morning, I'll bring a smoothie and then I'll just start to drink it when I start feeling hungry, as opposed to eating before I go to work where I didn't really need it. So I've been doing that quite a lot, and that works really well. So it might be worthwhile just waking up in the morning and seeing for yourself, well, am I actually really hungry? Have a cup of water with lemon to start your day off, because that usually helps digestion and just helps things function. So I do hot water and lemon, and then I see after an hour, am I really hungry? If I'm not, I wait if it's appropriate. And then I kind of wait until I really feel like I'm hungry. And then usually that's, 16 hours of fasting.
But if we eat at just after 6 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
And then we'd have our breakfast at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning.
So see when you wake up, see if you actually are hungry. Okay. Yeah, so get to that 8 o'clock where you would normally have your breakfast. Have your hot water lemon if you can, like as soon as you wake up. Have that first, and then see at 8 o'clock, am I actually hungry? Okay, no, not really. And then just see when your body actually craves the food, because a lot of the time we've just built a habit around eating at a certain time, right? I eat at 6, I have my breakfast at 8, I have my lunch at 12 or 1 or whatever. And we kind of make these constructs of our day, but actually our body might be going, you know, if we were in hunter-gatherer days, we'd probably have one solid meal a day.
Yeah.
We might eat a big amount of it, but now we've conditioned ourselves to have these meals that are actually probably bigger than we would have eaten back in the day. You know, we might have foraged for some berries during the day, you know, had some plants and stuff, and then we have like our big meal in the night around the fire, da 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 da. But now our culture has gotten us into not only 3 meals a day, but 3 meals a day plus snacks in between. So we're actually eating a lot more than what our body necessarily needs, because we're not hunting and gathering anymore, we're not doing the exercise, we're not building our shelters, we're not building our fires, we're not cooking our own meals all the time, you know, all the activities that we used to do. So the intermittent fasting is kind of bringing us back to our biology, and saying that actually we don't need to have those regimented meals, but just see how it goes, see how you feel at 8, and see if actually your body really needs it or not. And that was really profound for me, because I was conditioned in fitness. You have to have 5 meals a day, you know, your 3 meals plus your snacks. You eat as soon as you wake up. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And I actually realized I feel much better, because what was happening, I was eating at 8 and then I was starving at 11. So why didn't I just eat at 11? Do you know what I mean? And not have that extra calorie meal that I didn't really need. And it wasn't about weight for me. It was more about energy levels and stuff like that. So yeah, have a play with that.
Well, I'll give that a try, but you know, I'm pre-diabetic, and
Yeah.
so that's where, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't agree with the NHS system of carbs and what have you.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of reading on that, but they tell you, it seems to, you know, I've read a lot about the fasting thing, and I've never done it, apart from the fact that I'm already doing a roughly 12 hours in any case. But
Yeah.
they tell you to kind of eat some protein, even if it's only a small amount, to stop the extra, because if your sugar drops too low, because it's not well controlled, then you get glycogen spilling out of your liver, which pumps that, then the result of that is more insulin.
Yeah.
And so I'm torn between, I've read too much.
I know, that's the thing, there's so much out there. What might be good, I'll just talk to my sisters. My sister's our nutrition advisor, and see what she says about fasting with pre-diabetic and diabetic, and what she recommends. Is it good to fast? Do we need to look at the other things that you're eating in the day to make sure you're getting your blood sugars up to an appropriate level, and you're not spiking it before you go to bed, so that then you're needing, you know, that that replenishment in the morning.
Because that's what happens during the night, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that when your sugar level drops, then out comes the glycogen to boost it up. But I don't know. I don't know enough about it to know when exactly that is the thing that's happening.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
and so I, in my mind, I'm sticking to what I've read, which is that you eat smaller amounts but more regularly.
Yeah. But
and
do you, when you're eating, when you're having those little in between, are you actually hungry for them?
Not necessarily.
Okay, I want you to listen to that more. Okay. Yeah, really listen to when you're hungry, because sometimes we're eating and then actually the body doesn't really need it at that time. You know, I eat kind of like 11, it's more like 3 or 4, and then by the time I get to dinner, I only want a little bit because I've eaten the main things there. So kind of see what you feel like at 8. I don't really feel that hungry, but maybe 9 or 10 I do. Okay, that's like, oh, I'm really hungry. Have a big meal then. Like really fill yourself, like big brunch, eggs, spinach, everything, protein, loads of good energy, plant-based stuff. And then see how long you really need to go before you're craving the snack. And of course, if you kind of go 2 hours after and you're going, yeah, I need something, and you've had water and you've had all the efficient things that you should have in between, because we should have lots of water between the meals, then go, okay, at 2, am I really craving that? Not really. Okay, let's see, when my next meal, like I need that. Obviously be prepared that you're not then going to 3 and have nothing ready. But sometimes, yeah, I think actually when we listen, instead of following the guidelines of what we should be doing, we actually eat much better, and you'll find that you'll start to lose weight naturally because you're eating more proper for your body. Does that make sense? Yeah, have a play, just listen to it and just see what happens. Okay, so after we do the quads and you've done the bum with the roller, then I would go into the ball that you've already done. So the ball in your bum and the ball in the hamstring, okay? Then I want you to do the quad stretch on your couch, okay? So I'm just gonna bring my chair over. Okay, so this is our, when we go down, make sure you've got a pillow underneath your knee if it's feeling sensitive. And then your one leg forward. Okay, so put your pillow on the floor, under your knee. Put your foot up on the couch. And then put your other foot forward. Okay, so I'm using the, or you could, you know, if you've got your little roller there, you could just use it to support yourself on. Or a chair in front of you if you need it. Okay, you all right? Barely? Okay, well done, well done. So tilt your pelvis up, so your pubic bone kind of comes up to your navel. So I'm tilting my hip up, and that's really pulling on my quads, yeah? And then relax, come down. Okay, so you kind of come up into that position, tilt the pelvis. Oh, that feels really tight today for me. Woo! And then release. Okay, so you're going to do that 5 times. Tilt the pelvis up, lift the belly up, feel that pull of the front of the hip.
Yeah.
Release, good. 2 more. That's it. So tilt the pelvis up, and when you can get that a little bit more flexible, your arms will come up. Okay, but for right now, if it feels too much, just hold on to that roller and tilt the hips up and kind of drag your front heel a little bit, and that's really going to pull up the front of the leg. Okay, so 5 of those, and then change legs gracefully and beautifully.
There's nothing graceful about it.
How did our bodies get in this state, eh?
Oh, I don't know. Well, who knows? No, that really hurts that knee.
Have you got some cushioning underneath?
No, well, it's still gonna pull.
Try and put a pillow underneath. And just make sure the angle of the knee, you're not kind of like directly pushing down on it, that it's kind of slightly angled almost more there. So don't kind of go right vertical down. Yeah? Which one did I just do? Ooh. My chair is a bit high here.
No, I'm not doing that. It's painful.
Okay, try it with your knee down like this. So your foot's on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then put the other leg forward. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, so now tilt the pelvis up here. So pubic bone up to navel, and then dragging the front heel kind of towards you. Okay, now that, I think that's because you've stopped kind of doing the quad release, just because you've been focusing on the glutes, which is totally cool. So that's why I want to come back and just make sure we get all the ones that we should be doing. Okay, so tilt the pelvis up, Lift through the belly, drag the front heel. So it's like I'm pulling the heel back on the carpet. And then release. Okay, so you kind of come into the stretch, tilt the hips up, feel the pull. So that should still pull down the front of the leg, but hopefully feels a little bit better on your knee. Does that feel okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. And release, and then one more time. Tilt up, lift, and release. Good stuff. Okay, get your white roller out. Okay, so we're going to do our upper back mobility stuff. Okay, so again, this is our big muscle groups that we want to tackle. Okay, so we're going to put that roller at the broad line area, middle back. Tuck the pelvis a little bit under. Hands interlaced behind your head. Okay, what you want to do is keep your shoulder blades quite wide when you start moving back over the roller. So I want you to move your spine first. Let your spine go back. And just make sure you're not too low or too high. Okay, then you're going to let your shoulder blades come together a little bit to go back a little bit further. Then your shoulder blades are going to come around your ribs, and then your spine comes back up again to where you were looking forward. Okay, so big breath in here. And then I'm keeping my shoulder blades wide and starting to move the spine back. Then the shoulder blades slightly come together to go a little bit further. Then the shoulder blades come apart, the elbows come back around, eyes look down, and the spine comes back up. Yeah, and just make sure you're not kind of pulling your head forward, that it's more you're looking your head down. Okay, so let the head look up the wall and then to the ceiling with your eyes. Once the eyes pretty much get to the ceiling, your shoulder blades can start coming backwards. And then the shoulder blades come apart, your eyes start looking down and forward, and then coming up with the spine. Does that feel okay?
Yeah.
Good stuff. Do one more time. So the spine goes back first, eyes to the sky, and then your shoulder blades can gently come back. Just make sure your low back doesn't lift when you do that. And then the shoulder blades come back around your ribs, the elbows scoop around, your eyes look down, and then your spine comes up. Yeah, very nice. Okay, now turn sideways to your roller. So we're going to have the roller kind of underneath the armpit, okay, in our little rib cage area. So these are your lats that we're going to hit. Okay, now I normally prop my head with my hand just because it feels a little bit more comfortable. And then you're just going to roll forward towards your chest and roll back towards your shoulder blade. Nothing too big. And I want your eyes to look a little bit down onto the mat. Then your eyes straight ahead. And then your eyes towards the sky. Okay, and that's almost going to lead the movement. And then your eyes look straight ahead, the eyes look down, and you'll feel some pressure points on that shoulder blade area, hopefully. Eyes to the sky, and then eyes back down. Okay, then come back to center and just have your hand kind of on the roller. So the other hand on the roller. And then you're going to press into your bottom leg and let your top leg come up. Okay, so you're just going to let it float in the air and then lower back down. So I'm pressing down into the bottom leg, lifting the top leg up, and back down. Okay, one more time, press into the bottom leg and just have it hip height. Now I want you to send that leg a little bit back and your arm forward. Okay, so I'm just like reaching to the wall in front. Then the leg staying bent is going to come forward and that arm is going to go back. Forward with the arm, leg goes back, and I want you to tilt your pelvis up to your ribs when the leg goes back. And then come back with the arm. You can look a little bit at the sky there. So you kind of get a little bit of the rotation. And then as soon as the leg goes back, you want to tilt the pelvis up a little bit 12. So pubic bone to navel. And then come back. You can look at the sky a little bit as the leg goes forward. And 2 more. Does that feel okay?
Yes.
Yeah, so you should be working a little bit of your bum and hamstring here, very lightly, and also your core. And also we're getting a lat stretch at the same time. So we're getting a triple whammy. And then release. I like doing things where I can do a few different exercises in one exercise.
Yes.
Okay, so we get a lat release, we get some rotation in your upper back. We also just start to get kind of this little walking action with the legs. Okay, so get your roller just underneath your armpit, kind of, I've got it chest level. Prop your head where it feels comfy. Okay, then we're just going to start rocking forward, turning the eyes to the mat. Eyes straight ahead, and then turning the eyes to the ceiling. Straight ahead, and just letting the head roll, letting your body roll with your eye movement. Eyes straight ahead, eyes to the sky. And just notice how this lat area, how tight it feels. Does it feel a little bit ouchy under there?
It is.
Yeah.
More ouchy than the other side.
Yeah. Okay, and then find the middle where the eyes are looking straight ahead. Have your hand just resting on the roller if that's comfortable, the one that's kind of free floating. And then press into your bottom leg, let the top leg float. And release. So bottom leg presses, top leg floats. This side feels very different. Bottom leg presses, top leg floats. Okay, now let the leg go back a little bit as the arm reaches forward. Woo, this feels very different. And then as the leg goes back, as the leg goes forward, the arm goes back. And you can look at the sky at that point. Then the leg goes back, we keep it bent, reach the arm forward, deep abdominals. So I want to tilt the pelvis up a little bit as the leg goes behind, and that stops it from going into your low back. Okay, leg goes forward, arm goes back. Leg goes back, tilt the pelvis, pubic bone to navel as you reach. God, this right side is really painful. Woo! Okay, back with the arm, forward with the leg. Let's go 2 more. So back with the leg, forward with the arm, tilt the pelvis. 1 more. Forward and back with the arm. And as you're watching it back, you can see what I'm doing. And then release. Awesome. Okay, what we're going to do is lie on your back, and we're going to put the roller underneath your pelvis. Okay? So what I want you to do is to lie down, lift your pelvis up, and then place the roller underneath. Okay, so it's under your sacrum. That's it. Okay, so once it's under there, I want you to let your ribs just start to settle down to the floor, because you might find that the arch in the back is quite high. Your roller isn't as big as mine. So just let yourself breathe and settle your upper body into the mat. You okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So just letting the pelvis settle on the roller. Letting your belly fall into your body. Let your upper body fall into the mat. Let your shoulders spread out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. When you've settled, take one leg to tabletop and just gently hold it in your hand wherever feels comfortable, around the shin, under the leg, whatever feels good for it. Okay, if you can hold with both hands, that would be great. That's it, awesome. So we're in hip flexion, yeah? So the front of the hip is flexing, but I also want that leg to be in your hip, so it's kind of settled down into your pelvis. Okay, now slowly let your bottom leg slide down along the mat. Okay, but I don't want the pelvis to tip forward. Okay, so you might have a little bend in the knee, yeah, so that when the leg slides down, it doesn't take the pelvis down with it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Good. Open the front of the hip a little bit. So I'm getting a little stretch down the front of the hip. As long as my pelvis stays a little bit more towards my ribs as the leg goes away. Okay, then we get back to tabletop, hug the other leg, and just once you get that pelvis slightly tucked towards 12, then you're gonna let the leg slide down. And we need an active kind of tilt of your pelvis as the leg goes down. What I try and do is rotate the knee so it's pointing straight up if I can. Okay, because it'll want to fall out to the side for the majority of people. Okay, so I try and rotate my bottom knee so it's pointing up to the ceiling. Can you feel that stretch? Can you feel that stretch?
Yeah.
Yeah, you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, and come back to center. So both legs in tabletop. And you can just hold your hands either on the roller or just on the mat. Just make sure your sacrum is on there. Your feet are dangled as much as possible. Okay, we're just gonna do little circles of the legs in the hips. So I'm gonna do teeny tiny little stirring circles, trying to get the legs to feel really deep in my groin, because you know that's where the legs insert. Let your feet fall, let your feet drop. Yeah, just really drop your feet. And I want you to focus on your leg bones, the ball in the socket. Okay, so really tiny movement. So circling, they both go away from each other, then down, then into each other, and back up. So make sure you're doing circles. Okay, yeah, you're doing circles together. So come to the center. Let the legs, can you drop your feet anymore? Yep, just let them drop. Okay, good. Now, send the legs apart from each other. Yeah, then circle the legs downwards, kind of away from your body. Yeah, then bring them in towards each other and back up through center. So they're gonna go apart, down, back in together, and yeah, good. That's it. Now you don't want to let the legs go so far that your tail tips down. Yeah, that's it. So it's going to be tiny circles. That's it. And every circle you're kind of sinking the legs more into the hips. Does that hurt your knee?
Yeah.
Really, just dangling it there.
Yeah.
Okay, bring your heels together for me. Yeah, good. And just open, like rotate your legs open as they are, and then rotate them back closed again, your knees. So your thigh bones rotate in, and then your thigh bones rotate out. Yeah. Yeah. That's it. Make sure it feels like a rotation and not just a knee opening. So the heels kind of rotate into each other. Yeah. And yeah. Okay, just rest it down. Okay, take your roller away. And just feel your pelvis on the mat now. Make sure you have an appropriate head block behind your head. So even those little it looks like the foot doesn't want to drop. Yeah? So that tells me that the quads here are pulling, right? Because if the quads were relaxed, they'd be able to fold that knee. So to me, there's the pull, and that was indicated when you did the foot on the couch. It just didn't want to do that at all. Okay, so we really need to get down the quads with that roller so that we can get that movement of the knee, because the knee should be able to just dangle like that. Yeah, but it looks like it's almost here. When it dangles, it doesn't want to do that. Yeah, so it's pulling over that knee joint, right? And that's what's making it want to go like this, right? So if we release that tension, that leg will be able to drop
Right.
over.
Yeah.
Okay? So I think, again, doing that work in the front. I just want you to try and do your little leg fall outs. So let's lie on the roller, full length. Okay, so I want you to do where you're lying lengthwise on your white roller.
So,
Okay.
can I see what I'm supposed to do before I try to lie down? Because otherwise I won't be able to see.
You've got to listen.
Yeah, but what you say and what I think are usually a bit different.
Okay, so what I just want to do is do a few of your little pelvic rocks, a little bit of side to side, and then I want to try and do your little leg rotations. Okay? And then I want to try and do that wider one that we've done where we do the legs going kind of one way and then the other. But because you'll have the pelvis there, it'll have to come into your legs. So it won't be very big, okay? But I think we'll start to get a little bit of some movement there, hopefully. Okay, so lying full length, make sure your head is touching and your pelvis is on the roller. Okay, and just have your forearms just resting on the floor. Is your head supported? Have you got a little pillow behind?
It's on the roller.
Okay, is it falling back or is it nice and level?
It's level.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so your forearms are on the mat, your feet are in line with your sit bones. What I want you to do is just gently rock from one side to the other. So just putting a little bit of weight onto one forearm, and then come back to center and a little bit of weight onto the other forearm. But try and kind of feel like your roller moves your body rather than your body moving your roller. Yeah, so imagine your spine is glued to the roller. So your head, the middle of the shoulder blades, and the pelvis. That's it. So the pelvis, the head, the shoulders kind of fall in unison. And so you're feeling more weight on the one forearm and then on the other. And the legs aren't doing too much counterbalance. Try and make your core be the counterbalance. So your core kind of catches you rather than your legs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can feel kind of the core going, whoa, I don't want to fall off here.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, come back to center. Lovely, and just roll your pelvis gently, so you're tilting it and tucking it. So tucking towards your ribs and tilting away from your ribs, and just kind of feeling the back of the pelvis on the roller. So just feeling how it's moving and minimizing how much you're using the back of your legs and your hamstrings to do it. And can you just move from the pelvis? So the pelvic bowl rolling. Okay, so the halves of the pelvis rolling and tilting. Okay, so we're minimizing how much you're using the back of the legs and your bum to create that motion. You able to do that without the bum kicking in?
No.
Okay, so I want you to let go of the bum and maybe communicate instead. Maybe your body is thinking of the back of the legs and your hips. So put your hands on the crests of your pelvis here. I don't know if you can see. So on the sides of your pelvis. And then see if you can guide your pelvis with your hands.
Am I doing 6 to 12 or am I doing side to side?
6 to 12 right now. Okay, so I want you to feel that it's not being driven by pushing and pulling through your back or your legs and the front of the legs, but it's actually coming up into the pelvis movement. What you might feel is a little bit of pull and push with your feet. So if we can take it out of the hips and the hamstrings and maybe feel a little bit of like push forward with the feet, pull, then the pelvis starts to do that little rocking action.
Yeah.
Does that feel better?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's really key, that actually you're not doing the pelvic tilts using your bum, because they really shouldn't be working in this context. Okay? And then settle into neutral, and then see if you the side to side movement. So the one side heavy, one side light. So it's almost like one side of the pelvis drops a little bit over the edge. It's very subtle. So I shouldn't really see much movement side to side with your legs, if any. If anything, the legs are kind of going more like one's going slightly higher than the other as you do your little seesaw. Okay, so whichever half of the pelvis is going down, that leg is going down into your hip more. And whichever half of the pelvis is going up, that leg is going up a little bit out of the hip. But again, it doesn't come from your bum. It doesn't come from your backside doing it. It's really the pelvic halves. And breath, okay? Breath is really key. So I always exhale to melt. Letting the pelvis fall. Inhale to come back to center. Pelvis falls. Okay? And then find the middle. Okay, now keeping the pelvis level, I want you to start doing your little leg drop. So your little leg fall out. So you're kind of rolling onto the outer edge of your foot and turning the leg outwards. I'm actually thinking something here. Whether it'll work. Yes. So when you're falling the leg out, can you keep your big toe on the floor? So really keeping your big toe on the mat. Then can you turn the leg, the femur in the hip? It might not go very far, and then come back up. Okay, so keep your big toe kind of pressing onto the floor and rotate your leg bone in your hip. So big toe on the floor and rotating the leg in the hip. And then come back up. Okay, so big toe on the floor, rotating the leg in the hip, even if it's just a little bit, and the pelvis doesn't move. And one more, big toe on the floor, rotating. And come back to center. Now you can either do this on the roller, or you can do this on the floor, but I'll show you on the roller while we're here. Bring your feet a little bit closer to you, to your roller. See if you can take your arms up into the air and balance. Good. Okay, so the arms are just straight up. Now you're going to press into your feet so they start pushing down into the mat. And you probably will find that your pelvis rolls a little bit. Okay, then see if you can press enough that your pelvis comes off the roller, your legs go forward, your feet go down, and your spine slowly comes up, so you're kind of resting on the top of your spine by your shoulder blades. Okay, then you're going to come down along the spine and let your pelvis return back to the roller. And then let your bum let go completely. Okay, so press into the feet. Kind of like the feet are pressing down and almost forward a little bit. That rolls the pelvis gently. And then keep pushing through the feet. Send your legs forward, your feet down, your body long, peeling the spine off the roller. So you're resting between your shoulder blades. And then come all the way down, gently along the roller, all the way down to the pelvis. Let's do that one more time. You okay?
Yes.
That feels quite nice as an articulate.
It does.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so feet press. The pelvis will naturally roll a little bit, and you start to peel the spine up. The legs forward, the feet down, and then you're resting up on the shoulder blades. Good, and then all the way back down along the roller and unravel back down. Good stuff, well done. Okay, so you've now got the recording of all those bits. So if you want to do the releasing every day, I would do the quads. Don't neglect the quads. The quads, the bum, the hamstrings, the calves, and your feet, which we didn't get to. So getting underneath your feet, okay? So that's an everyday. If you want to add the other ones, like the thigh stretch, the roller work, then that's an every other day.
And how do I?
Time, do it every day if you want to.
How do I see the recording?
I'm going to send it to you.
Ah.
Okay? All right, so I know we have our little chat in the middle, but that might remind you about the fasting and just listening to your body.
Okay.
Okay, and don't worry, the knee will get better. If you were doing all those exercises and it didn't hurt, then I would say, okay, we have some pathology. But the fact that the quads hurt, the hamstrings still hurt, the glutes still hurt, yeah, we're not quite weight bearing well. There's still a lot of groundwork to do. So in some ways, don't obsess the knee. The knee just needs to figure it out, okay? It is what it is. And don't have any expectations because the body will heal when it wants to. Yeah, we can't force these things to happen. I've had a knee issue my whole life. And the minute I obsessed about the knee, it was there all the time. When I stopped obsessing and just started working on my posture and working on all the things that I could control, it slowly started to be less of a tension in my mind. But when I was focused on, I've got a knee thing, I've got a knee thing, I've got to get my knee better, I've got to get my knee better, it was painful all the time. Yeah, so I think sometimes our mind, I'm not saying you don't have the pain there, but I think sometimes our mind can construct more than what's there. And actually, we can control as much as we can control, which you're doing. So yeah, is that okay? You're awesome. Don't get discouraged.